So what type of music should we be listening to as Christians? I want you to first understand where I'm coming from, okay? When I was growing up, God wasn't a big part of my life like he is today. And I was listening to whatever I felt like listening to. But when I was growing up, I honestly had such an appreciation for every genre of music that was out. And I could appreciate the talent that it took to make it. But when I was younger, I was getting in a lot of trouble. I was getting in a lot of fights. And honestly, the music that we were listening to was really fueling the anger, okay? And it was definitely giving us the message that it was trying to give us. And that message was very clear. So it had a very big impact on the way we acted when we were growing up. But when I was born again, there was a humongous conviction that was hitting me, okay? And I would go to the gym and start listening to the same rap music that I'd always listened to. But I started really listening to the message that it was feeding me. And that message started really clashing with my spirit. And I started realizing that this music that had always entertained me, this message wasn't from God. So I knew that the rap music I had been listening to my entire life, it had to go. But I was still listening to a lot of the R&B that I'd grown up listening to my entire life, but I started adding a lot more Christian music. But I had kept a lot of the R&B music that I'd grown up with my entire life, because in my mind, there was no profanity. It's really nice. It's about loving somebody. So I kept a lot of it. But then I started really listening to the message that music was giving me. And a lot of the times it was about either missing somebody or seducing somebody with words. And it was about intimate relationships. And a lot of those things, it wasn't good. That's not love. And it wasn't from God. It was using sex to sell music. So it really, all of it started convicting me. And I ended up taking all of it out of my phone. And it was really hard. It was a really hard thing to do because these were songs that I was listening to my entire life. But I started realizing that every single one of them brought me back to a place that I was in my past at some point. And I didn't want to live in my past anymore. I wanted to be new. I was born again. And I knew that I wanted to move forward from everything that I was before. So I knew from this point on, if I was going to listen to music, I wanted that music to feed my spirit. I wanted it to keep my mind focused on God at all times, because if there was something that I could change about myself, something that I could change about my mind, is that I would keep focused on God every second of the day, because I knew if that was the case, my whole life would be better. But then the sad thing that you start realizing is that when you start listening to all Christian music, you start realizing that there are people that are making Christian music that don't have Christian beliefs. Now, I didn't go seeking out who I was going to listen to and who I wasn't. If I believed the words and if I knew that it was feeding my spirit, I would listen to it. Sometimes there would be something that would come across a news feed or a YouTube video or something that would expose somebody that I was listening to. And if whatever that was went absolutely against my beliefs, I would stop listening to them. The funny thing is, a lot of the people that I used to listen to, they would end up making a song about God. And I would think, that's awesome. You know, this person that I love listening to, he's a Christian. But I'll tell you what, man, a lot of the artists that do that, they are some of the most dangerous people for Christianity. Because they'll go and take that Christian song and they'll stick it right in the middle of their album. And, you know, they're talking about God and they might even mention Jesus in the song. But the song right before that song and the song right after that song, what are they talking about? One song might be talking about getting drunk off whiskey, and the next song might be talking about fornicating with a bunch of women. So now you have the same person that was listening to your Christian song is now listening to the rest of your album talking about getting drunk and sleeping with a bunch of women and thinking, well, this person's a Christian. He's saying it's okay. It must be okay. But the problem is it's not okay. And you have a humongous fan base that is listening to you talking about how you love God, and then throughout the rest of the album, you're promoting sin. But I'll have a lot of people give me a hard time about listening to somebody like Hillsong. And I get it, man. The churches are not perfect by any means. But the point is, I'm going to listen to music. And if you have ever listened to their music, I have picked apart every lyric that I could possibly pick apart. And they are absolutely praising Jesus in their songs that they're writing. But you'll have somebody like Pastor Vody Baucham, where they take one song out of the 1,000 songs that they've made, and they'll take one single line, one little lyric out of that song, and they'll say, see, this is why we don't listen to this. And I'm just like, yo, you cannot possibly expect somebody to make absolute perfect lyrics for every single one of their songs that they make. And if you're going to tear somebody's entire life work down that they've been praising God their entire career, you got to come with more than that. We have to understand that listening to a certain type of music, that's not sending you to hell, okay? Only God knows your heart. And listening to rap music, that's not taking away your salvation. Everybody's going to be convicted at a certain point of their life when they need to be. A lot of pastors will tear down Christian singers, but then they're not giving you an alternative music. What do you listen to then? If you don't listen to any of these Christian singers, what are you listening to? Because I tell you what, if you're going to use a certain formula to judge somebody and base everything of their work, you need to do that with every single artist that you're listening to as well. And I promise you, if you decide to do that, you're going to find out something. Everybody's a sinner. But I do draw the line at a certain point, okay? When I found out through a random YouTube video that Lauren Daigle was supporting gay marriage, that goes against my beliefs. I have gay friends and I have gay family, and they know that I love them. But I do not support that lifestyle. I can't. My God tells me that I can't. Or when I found out that Dante Bowie was excited to go see Lil Nas X, this dude is literally dressing up as Satan in his music videos. You cannot, as a Christian, say that you are supporting this man. So there is a line drawn in the sand for me at some point, but I'm not going to go seeking out people's lifestyles and what they believe and all of that for every single artist I listen to, because honestly, that would just take forever. But I really do listen to the lyrics a lot, and I want to make sure that I agree with them, and I constantly pray to God for discernment. I just wanted to share with you my little music journey, and hopefully it gives you something to think about as a follower of Christ and what you are entertaining your mind with on a regular basis. I thank you, my brothers and sisters, for listening, and I thank you for helping spread the message and supporting a brother in Christ. And I want you to know that I'm always praying for you. Thank you for watching. Go Jesus.